What happens when a sleeping giant wakes up and decides to lead the economic race? Picture this. A giant, sprawled over 44 million square kilometers, stirs from its slumber. This isn't just any giant, mind you, but the largest continent on our blue planet, home to over 4 billion individuals, a melting pot of more than 50 diverse nations, each with its own unique flavor. This is Asia, a sleeping giant that has finally awoken and is now eager to not just join, but lead the global economic marathon. This Titan's rise is an intriguing revelation, a tale that unfolds with the turn of the millennium. But to appreciate the transformation, we must first comprehend the magnitude of what Asia encapsulates. It's not just about the vast landscapes from the frozen Siberian tundra to the sun-drenched beaches of Bali. It's not merely about the bustling cities with their neon lights, nor the tranquil villages nestled in the heart of verdant mountains. It's about the people, the cultures, the traditions, the philosophies, and the indomitable spirit that binds them all together. Asia in the 20th century was largely perceived as a developing continent, with economies that were gradually finding their footing on the world stage. But as the hands of time moved, the last few decades witnessed a dramatic shift. The sleeping giant was not just stirring, it was rising, ready to leave an indelible mark on the world. The story of Asia's economic rise is not a tale of overnight success. It's a saga of resilience, of learning from past mistakes, of adapting to changes, and of ceaseless innovation. It's a narrative that reflects the continent's inherent ability to turn challenges into opportunities, to rise from the ashes, and to carve its own path in the global economic landscape. From a tapestry of impoverished lands to a dominant economic power, Asia's transformation is one of the most fascinating stories of the 21st century. This is the awakening of the giant. This is the rise of Asia. Asia in the 20th century was predominantly seen as a developing continent. The world watched as its economies, though rich in culture and history, grappled with the challenges of modernization and industrialization. The Asian landscape was dotted with nations striving to find their footing in an increasingly interconnected world economy. Picture nations such as China, India, and Japan, each with their own unique complexities, slowly but surely beginning to harness their potential. China, for instance, was a sleeping giant, its economy largely agricultural and rural, with millions living in poverty. India, on the other hand, was shaking off the shackles of colonial rule, striving to build a self-sustaining economy. Japan, having emerged from the ruins of the Second World War, was on the brink of its economic miracle. These were not isolated stories. Across the continent, from the expansive steppes of Mongolia to the bustling cities of South Korea, economies were transforming. There was a palpable sense of change, a stirring of ambition, and an understanding that the future could be different. In the latter half of the 20th century, the world began to witness a shift. Asia, once viewed through the lens of development and aid, was slowly stepping into the limelight. The continent was no longer just a receiver, but was starting to give back to the global economy. It was becoming a hub of innovation, technology, and economic growth. This was no overnight sensation. It was a painstaking process filled with trials, errors, and lessons learned. It was a journey marked by economic reforms, technological advancements, and a relentless pursuit of progress. And it was a journey that was far from over. But the last few decades have seen a dramatic metamorphosis. While the 20th century laid the groundwork, the 21st century saw Asia emerge as a global economic powerhouse. The sleeping giant was not just awake, it was standing tall, ready to lead the world into a new era of economic prosperity. The story of Asia's rise is still being written, and what a riveting tale it promises to be. Central to this narrative is China implementing the largest intercontinental project ever seen, the Belt and Road Initiative. This initiative isn't just a project, it's a global game changer. Inspired by the ancient Silk Roads, China's modern economic venture is an audacious one, spanning around 50 countries and racking up investments that run into the trillions of dollars. This isn't just about building highways or laying down railway tracks. No, this is about weaving a network of economic lifelines, connecting east and west, north and south, and everything in between. It's about creating a new world order, one that's centered around China. And the scope? It's simply staggering. Imagine a project that encompasses around 65% of the world's population, covers about 40% of its GDP, and involves a third of global trade. That's the Belt and Road Initiative for you, but what's the catch? Why is China investing so heavily in this global endeavor? The answer is simple yet profound. The Belt and Road Initiative is China's grand strategy to expand its influence globally. It's about more than just economics, it's about geopolitics and power. This initiative is a key part of China's vision for the future. It aims to bolster its economic growth, foster stronger ties with its neighbors, and create a global network of trade routes that will cement China's place as a dominant economic power. And it's not just about China. The Belt and Road Initiative has the potential to uplift economies, create jobs, and stimulate growth in dozens of countries along its route. It's a win-win scenario, and that's what makes it so appealing. But there's an even bigger goal in sight. China isn't just looking to expand its influence, it's looking to overtake the United States as the world's largest economy. This isn't just a possibility, it's a probability, and it's happening sooner than you might think. The goal: develop its economy to an unprecedented level and strategically position itself to overtake the United States as the world's largest economy. This is the Chinese project changing the world, and it's only just beginning. Revisiting history, the original Silk Road was a network of trade paths that significantly enriched Chinese dynasties. Let's take a step back in time and picture the original Silk Road. Envision a sprawling network of trade routes, a veritable lifeline that connected the bustling markets of the East with the prosperous economies of the West. This was the original Silk Road, a name given in tribute to the lucrative trade in silk carried out along its length. This ancient highway was not just about silk, it was the conduit for a rich exchange of goods, ideas and cultures across continents. The Silk Road was, in a sense, the world's first globalization effort, and it brought untold wealth and influence to the Chinese dynasties. Fast forward to the present day, and China is reimagining this ancient route with the Belt and Road Initiative. This modern version of the Silk Road is a monumental infrastructure project stretching from East Asia to Europe, and it promises to be a game changer. With investments amounting to trillions of dollars, the Belt and Road Initiative is not just about building roads, railways and ports. It's about creating economic corridors that will stimulate trade, foster development and enhance diplomatic ties among more than 50 countries. Imagine the economic benefits of such a colossal project. We're talking about an initiative that could potentially involve over 60% of the world's population, contributing to a significant percentage of global GDP. The scale is simply mind-boggling, but it's not just China that stands to gain from this project. The Belt and Road Initiative is a two-way street. The countries involved in this project stand to benefit enormously, with increased trade, improved infrastructure, and a stronger economic footing in the global marketplace. Indeed, this mega-project has the potential to completely rewrite the rules of regional economic dynamics. It could be the catalyst that propels Asia to a position of unparalleled economic dominance in the 21st century. The economic benefits are astronomical, not only for China but for all countries involved, with the potential to completely transform regional economic dynamics. Strategically, this project expands Chinese power and simultaneously puts the United States in a position to compete more aggressively in global infrastructure investments. As we delve deeper into the implications of the Belt and Road Initiative, it's clear that the ripples of this monumental project extend far beyond the borders of Asia. The initiative is not merely a massive infrastructure project, but a strategic chess move on the global economic board. Imagine a chessboard. Now picture China as the player who's been biding its time, carefully positioning its pieces. The Belt and Road Initiative is akin to a queen's gambit, a bold move intended to exert influence and control over the board, which in this case is the global economic landscape. This move has multiple strategic implications. For one, it expands Chinese influence across a vast swathe of territories, including Africa, Europe, and even the Americas. It's a clear signal that China is stepping up its game, ready to compete head-on with the United States, the current global superpower. But it's not just about competition. The initiative also offers opportunities for collaboration. The infrastructure projects will create new trade routes, facilitate economic cooperation, and potentially foster stronger diplomatic ties among the participating nations. However, there's a flip side to this coin. While the initiative offers potential economic benefits, it also poses significant challenges. For instance, the massive debt that participating countries may incur could lead to economic instability. Moreover, the initiative may also serve to expand China's political influence, raising concerns about potential shifts in the global power balance. On the other side of the Pacific, the United States finds itself compelled to respond. Whether it's through increased investments in global infrastructure or forging new alliances, the US must adapt to this changing landscape. In essence, the Belt and Road Initiative is reshaping the rules of the global economic game. It's a wake-up call for nations worldwide to rethink their economic strategies and alliances. The Asian continent, led by the monumental Chinese initiative, will not only redefine global economic alliances but also challenge current economic hegemony. And with that, we find ourselves at the precipice of a new era, with Asia firmly in the driver's seat of the global economy. The game is on and the world is watching. As we move into the next decade, Asia, with its rich history and promising future, is arguably at the center of the next global economic revolution. Picture the world's economic landscape as a colossal chessboard. Just a few decades ago, Asia was largely playing catch-up. Now it's setting the pace, and the world is scrambling to keep up. Not only is Asia becoming the global economic linchpin, but it is also poised to redefine the rules of the game. Asia's rise is not only about China. The continent is a symphony of economies, all playing their parts in harmony. India, for instance, with its burgeoning middle class and rapid digitization, is poised to be a major player in the 21st century economy. Southeast Asian nations, with their robust growth rates and increasing integration, are becoming potent forces in the global supply chain. Japan and South Korea continue to be powerhouses of innovation and technology. Yet Asia's rise is not without challenges. Economic inequality, environmental degradation and political instability are but a few of the hurdles in its path. But as history has shown us, challenges are also opportunities. These hurdles could spur innovation, foster resilience and drive sustainable growth, pushing Asia to lead the next global economic revolution. In this revolution, Asia is not just a participant, it's the conductor. Its strategies and decisions will not only affect its own future, but also shape the global economic landscape. Whether it's the Belt and Road Initiative, the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, Asia's economic policies and projects are already having a seismic impact on the world. But what does this mean for the rest of the world? Will this lead to a zero-sum game where Asia's gain is the West's loss? Not necessarily. In an increasingly interconnected and interdependent world, Asia's rise could create a rising tide that lifts all boats. It could lead to a world where prosperity is shared, not hoarded. The economic war continues, and Asia is firmly in the driver's seat. Stay tuned, the game is just beginning.